Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Supermicro computer. It is time for another update, and on the long time frame we will only really discuss the scenario that we have on the chart for this video. If you want more detailed explanations of the long time frame, you can check the previous videos, but yeah, right now we will focus mostly on this area, the latest developments. But quickly, here we are tracking a series of 1-2 setups within this white scenario, and now we are looking at this larger wave 3 to the upside that we are still expected to form. And this scenario, this interpretation here in white, remains valid as long as we stay above the 50% retracement here at the $14 level. If we fall below that, we don't necessarily turn bearish to the point that we are looking for new all-time lows, but the likelihood of developing as good of a setup, as good of a movement to the upside decreases, and we would need to shift to scenarios that would have different interpretations that wouldn't be as bullish as this one. Now, regardless of that, within this wave 3 to the upside, we are tracking here a wave 1, a wave 2, a third wave up, a fourth wave down, and now a fifth wave to the upside. And this wave 4 could technically be complete within the white scenario. It could be complete, but really we have no confirmation right now, and the structure that has formed to the upside so far has a corrective nature where realistically it does look, or it doesn't even look, it is a 3-wave move to the upside in this area. Now if it turns out to be something more bullish, fine, but it does not suggest to us that we have bottomed with a high likelihood. So I am still open to other interpretations, such as the orange scenario, in which we are tracking a larger ABC correction, which could still take us even to new lows, local lows in this area, and who knows, maybe even to the bottom of this 50% retracement. Now this correction within the wave 4 could develop in other ways, doesn't need to be this ABC pattern, but this is what we will focus on the most at the moment. If we can see other scenarios that are with as high of a likelihood as this one right now, we could also add them in the future, but I don't want to overcomplicate things. So for now, focusing on the orange scenario, we are looking at an internal option that we have within it, where basically we could have completed this wave B to the upside here, and we could be in the wave C to the downside. But within the green scenario, we could actually see a reset of this wave B. Now for that to be the case, we do need to break above this previous high that we have marked as the wave B. But in the green scenario, we can look still for another high in this area, and then it could be just a reset of the wave B and still continue in a C wave to the downside to new lows in the wave 4. And within this scenario, or scenarios in this case, we are tracking this internal movement in this area in a couple of ways. So in the orange interpretation, the current orange interpretation, we are looking here at a 1-2 setup, and now we would expect a third wave to the downside. And within this wave 3, we could have already completed the wave 1, and we would now be in the wave 2 correction. But also we have the green interpretation, in which we are looking at an A wave up here, a B wave down, and then a C wave to the upside that would reset this wave B movement with this wave B in orange, and we would then look for the C wave to the downside. Now there's no need to discuss too much about which scenario is which at the moment, because internally we have a support zone in green that indicates to us when and if we fail to hold the green scenario, or when the likelihood of the green scenario following through decreases. And it is basically a support between the $45.8 level all the way down to the $32.9 level. So as long as we stay above the 78.6% retracement, we can look with an acceptable likelihood for continuation to the upside within such a wave C. And internally, either within the orange scenario or the green scenario, we are looking still for another low in this area, and that is mainly because we have what looks a lot like a 5-wave move to the downside in this this initial push to the downside, this most recent one, where it rather suggests continuation further down, either within or both within the green scenario and the orange scenario. And for this, we have a resistance area between the $47 all the way up to the $56.6 level. And as long as we stay below the 78.6% retracement here, I am favoring another low within both the green and the orange interpretation. And internally here, we have been tracking since the previous video this blue scenario in which we are looking for a larger ABC structure to complete this correction. And I provided you this support zone in blue between the $44.9 all the way down to the $41 level. That says that as long as we stay here above the 78.6% retracement, we can, with a decent likelihood, especially since this initial A wave to the upside does have a 5-wave move look, we can, with a decent likelihood, expect further upside. And yeah, we have pushed in what seems to be like a pretty compelling wave C since the previous video. And within this structure, we can have some interpretations, but before we get into that, I just want to point out again, as I did in the previous video, that an ideal target for such a wave C, in this case, is the 100% extension at the $54.3 level. So far, we haven't gotten there, but also I don't even consider the wave C in blue complete. In fact, I am looking still for another high that might very well get us to that exact point. And yeah, within this wave C, I will add a count. Now, there's two ways to interpret this movement to the upside within the wave C, and that depends on where I consider that the bottom here of the wave C is. So technically, this is the lowest point. This would be normally expected as the wave C, but yeah, it doesn't need to always be the last point. So an ABC correction can end in such a way that the wave C doesn't surpass the wave A. So technically, it could also be that the wave B has bottomed here instead. But regardless of that interpretation, we would be looking at a very similar target and very similar structure overall. In the scenario that we have the wave B bottom here, where we have the wave 2, I would instead be looking for a 5-wave structure within the wave C in this straight move to the upside. And in the case where, and yeah, it would be within an impulse where basically we would have a 1, 2, 1, 2, then a third wave up, a fourth wave down that seems to have started and possibly even completed, and then we would need a fifth wave and then another 4-5 pattern to complete this wave C. Whereas if I move this wave B here, I would have to track this pattern as a diagonal structure, an ending diagonal within the wave C, where this is an ABC within the wave 1, an ABC correction in the wave 2, and then within the third wave we also have an ABC structure, and now we are looking for also an ABC structure within the wave 4, where the wave 4 would have a support zone in this area, let's see, between the $51.2 level all the way down to the $47.7 level. And as long as we stay above the 61.8% retracement, we can still look for another high within this wave C, but then we would have a full count once this is done, and there would be an increased likelihood of continuation in either the orange or the green scenario to the downside, and yeah, we would very likely still be within this resistance area that we have presented here. Now, I will provide you also momentarily the support zone for the wave 4. And let's use the yellow here. And I meant to use the wave 4. So for the wave 4, in the other interpretation where the wave B bottomed here, I would expect to find support in the area between the $51.8 level all the way down to the $50 level. But the main reason I prefer to track the other scenario is because this would give me an invalidation point, where if we actually break below the 61.8% retracement, I would pretty much be inclined to believe that we have already topped here within this correction in this larger structure and be looking straight for continuation to the downside directly from here if we break the 61.8% retracement. Whereas if I am tracking the yellow scenario, that would be here in this case 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, I would need to disconsider the count already at the $50 level, the 50% retracement, and it would really only make me forced or it would really only force me to look at the blue scenario and just reset the count to something else. So something more reliable to look forward to in terms of support zones, in my opinion, is this blue zone for continuation to the upside, instead of really wasting time looking at the yellow interpretation. Now, I'm telling you, it is a possibility to follow through in the other scenario where the wave B again bottomed here, but I don't think it's worth focusing on. And for now, I won't go on with this. These are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover. And I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.